go. We've got ourselves a replay here between Mags and Macleans. My name is Theo. I go by Ted or Mr. Ted, and I've played League of Legends for about 6.5 years. I'm an AD carry main, but have played every role and peaked Diamond 3 last season, and ultimately played for the University of Waikato University team last year as well. I think I want to say we ended first or second, but leave that up for you guys to decide. But we had a good run of it, and competitive league is a lot of fun. So I'll be breaking down this replay. I'll be going through some decision making, and I'll be offering some advice, some points, a little bit of team fight breakdown, and an overall general improvement for each player. So we'll get stuck into it. Team comp wise, we have the blue team here. I see they've got a pick comp. You've got Jarvan, your go-to picker, Nautilus, Varus with his ultimate. All of these tools are really great at picking out squishies. And then you've got some follow-up here. As opposed to the red team here, where you've got what I call a hard engage comp. And a hard engage comp basically means if you see someone out, it's not necessarily picking. It's all in. They can engage on you off the side of the map. So straight off the gate here, we've got the blue team lining up for a little bit of a mini invade. I like what they're doing here. They're taking advantage of grouping. It's a really powerful tool when you are grouped as 5 and everyone's on voice comms, to take advantage of 4 stacking and the minute and a half of free time you've got to blow a summoner spell like they did. Quick reaction time from Zach, and he's out the gate, and they dropped a ward nicely to spot the start of his jungle route. So he's going to be starting red. That's all good. Zach likes to start red. He's not a mana-less. He's not a mana-based champion, so starting red's definitely preferable. And Malphite's going to give him a little bit of a leash. So you've got 2 control mages in the mid lane here. Both scaling relatively the same. Anivia maybe just a little bit harder than Syndra. You've got a bruiser versus a tank in the top lane. You've got a bruiser versus a jungler, a bruiser versus another tank in the jungle here. And then an AD carry and support versus an AD mage and tank. Now he's off to the gate here with a little bit of an aggressive invade. Unfortunately, he got spotted. We'll just skip back a little bit here. He got spotted on a ward that Kaisa placed. And as he goes for this invade, he walks right over there. And what's really powerful here is that as he's going over, Zach knows he's there and is spam pinging for assistance. He's asking for assistance from his level 1 mid laner and his bot lane, and the collapse starts to happen. He secures the buff, and he's almost out. But the flash from the AD carry on the red side picks that up, and that's what you want to see. If you're the AD carry there, that's, you definitely lose some farm here. And right here, there might even be an opportunity for the level 2 players to engage on level 1 players, but that's surpassed. In the top lane here, have a little bit of a scrap coming in, and we have a corrupting potion, empty corrupting potion to a ticking corrupting potion. And you'll see right here that absolutely makes all the difference. And just a point of reference, if you die solo in the top lane, you don't need to ping that enemies are missing. But needless to say, Malphite teleports back, and he's keen to pick up that farm. So what on that death, it could have been avoidable. I respect Malphite for staying, but if you greatly outscale your lane opponent. Most often tanks will outscale bruisers, so if you outscale, it's okay to miss some farm and XP, because you can always just come back and make that up over a few levels. So we just had Zach. He bounced back even though he missed his blue buff, and what we see here is really powerful. Good setup from Anivia, landing the stun, blowing a summoner, and that's a transition gank. So Zach was from the top side of the jungle and came through mid on a transition gank, and now he's headed to the bot side. So his pathing is pretty good at this point. He's managed to... he's a little bit down in farm, but he's making the most of it. And again, Zach will greatly outscale Jarvan, so he doesn't need to do too much. And here we have another little thing. He's backing here. He's not sure if he wants to go in. He's backing. He's thinking about it. He fires away here. I'll just slow this down. Really good W, really good route from the center there coming out. So just on that gank, it was very close. I mean, these guys they knew that Zach was around the area, but ultimately, I mean, it's so much distance at that point. But see, Nautilus is running heal right now. I'd heal him now, so he can create more space. The heal comes in a little late. If he had more space, I think he could have gotten behind those minions, and it wouldn't have been so easy for Senna to land the root. But that's a kill on the board right there for the Kai'Sa again, and they're able to crash in that wave. Varus won't miss this because he's running teleport, but yeah, he's going to be behind for most of the game. It's always up in the air whether or not you take teleport as an AD carry. It is powerful situationally on some AD carries that don't plan on doing a lot of combat early on. But more often than not, I like to run heal or exhaust, just for those level 2 all-ins, just for a little bit of survivability. So we're just going to speed it up a little bit. So Zach is basically finished his first clear. He's going to get a Stalker's Blade, get his Ruby Crystal, and he's out the gate here. Yep, so we see Jarvan, he wants to go Dragon, but everybody's just kind of taking a chill pill right now. And we see another gank from Zach. He's thinking about it again, but he'll forgo that. So yeah, in these moments, what the AD carry wants to do is farm. What the support wants to do is control vision around Baron. And what the jungler wants to do is ultimately get those early dragons, get those early dragons for the jungler and for the team. So it's a whole little 3v3 going on in the bot lane. And especially Season 10, dragons more often than not will be the win condition for a lot of teams. Getting those 4 dragons in a row, resulting in soul, can usually just mean that your team will outscale any other team, regardless of how many tanks they have or composition. So take a little look at the scorecard here. So even though Zach is a little bit down in CS, he's still level 5. He's got 2 assists there from the transition gank mid and the bot gank. But he's just power farming up a little bit to get to 6. Jarvan realized that there's an opportunity here. Makes the bold play to take Dragon here. So whenever you take dragons, it's kind of like you're cashing in on tempo. It's kind of like you've got all of this momentum, and you use the momentum that you have to secure an objective. So sometimes it's worth it to take those early dragons, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're better ganking or power farming, and setting them up a little bit later. But yeah, rule of thumb I'd say is if you can get a dragon uncontested between say 6 minutes and 10 minutes, absolutely go for it. So just move along a little bit here. So Varus with the tech Executioner's Calling, good pickup, especially against Senna, Zach. It makes sense. I'm not the biggest fan of Executioners, even if you are against healers, just because it does provide a lot of great utility, but it ultimately does inhibit your spikes, and it does stop you from getting to where you want to be. So we see Jarvan. He's finishing up his blue buff here. He's going to hit level 6. And he's got his eyes on top here. And we're just going to swap to the red team's perspective. He knows he's coming. But Zach drops the signals to be careful. They've spotted him here on this ward, and that gives Malphite just enough time to get out alive. So Malphite kept his flash. He only had to blow ultimate, but if you're a support, if you're a jungler, you're not intensively farming as opposed to your solo laners. So if you see somebody moving like Anivia just did, you can spot them, and that's it's really powerful as well, because it's something anybody can do. If you see somebody, just spot them out for your team, and it's going to help everybody out. So we've got ourselves a little bit of a fight coming up here, and I'll swap back to all. So this is the infamous tri-bush contest going on right now. Kai'Sa feeling bold, takes it, but gets comboed down. That's fine. Zach sees this, comes in from the side, nice flash from Varus. Kites back a little bit. Unfortunately, just not quite enough to get out there. And then a teleport from Wukong coming in here. Arguably, Wukong could have flashed this wall and immediately comboed Senna. But Senna ghosts out, and now Wukong is left kind of in a little bit of a pickle here. And but he doesn't want to let his TP go to waste. I respect that. So they're thinking they can close the gap on Senna. That's a nice scatter of the week from Syndra to stun Senna, but a little bit of crafty footwork here, and some healing and flashing. She held her flash there. That was really nice. She went over the wall, did a combo, and then she flashed out. You don't instantly have to flash out, but she held it. Wukong finally, he gets a little bit of damage off on the Anivia here. But Senna's still alive. And all this time, Kai'Sa has been spam pinging Zach, requesting assistance. He was previously farming here, and he rotates up and gets back in the fight. And just like that, Syndra thought she was rotating. She thought she had the kill on Senna, but it was not to be. So just remember that the Blast Cone can be used offensively or defensively, regardless of what side of the map you're on. That was well played from her, and well played from the Kai'Sa to request her team to join her. So pretty much, see here's, yeah, so Malphite, if I'm not mistaken, where was Malphite? He would have been, okay, so he would have just backed. So Wukong kind of gave himself a little bit of, I see, right, Malphite teleported. So that, it's maybe a distinction as well. If you're playing top, super important to save your teleport, because I feel like if Malphite would have teleported here when Wukong teleported, they could have gotten more, but He does the smart thing. He's pushing it in. Whenever your laner teleports, you want to kind of do what you can on your side of the map, and he pushes in the wave, and subsequently Jarvan has to absorb that while his team is fighting. So you can see red team right now just getting a little bit of a gold advantage. You could arguably say it's even with the Infernal Dragon that blue team has. We have ourselves another little bottom lane fight coming up here. So we have, I don't know if you guys caught that, but ultimately, let's go red vision here. So they see Varus here. They know Varus wants farm. They don't know Zax's here, but Kai'Sa is able to instantly ulti on the Varus, fighting within her own minions, and then they chase, and they don't chase any further, and that's what you need. Those little picks here and there. And it's a really powerful jungle route, coming in from the side and sitting in a side brush. More often than not, junglers will gank from river or gank from tri-bushes, but by sneaking in through the lane, you're able to catch your enemies off surprise. So we have our second dragon coming up, and we'll just take a quick stock assessment of where everybody's at. A bit cavalier from the Jarvan there. Just could have set that up a little bit better, but there's the Senna getting value from her ulti. We'll just watch this from blue side's perspective and see it looks good. See, they've got it's even vision in the river, and Jarvan has the right idea, trying to get a kill before a dragon fight. He's got the right idea. I feel like if Jarvan would have requested assistance or pinged going there, Nautilus would have been closer, and they could have locked down Kai'Sa a little bit better. But ultimately, Kai'Sa into Jarvan is a tricky one because she need only ulti on the Jarvan, and she is able to jump out of the Jarvan's little mountain cage. So this is smart from the red team. They send 3 members to finish dragon, and AD carry gets to continue to farm and push in the farm. So if you're an AD carry before 20 minutes, your main objective is pretty much to farm. You know, farm, get your items, because once you've got items, then you become much more relevant, and you can actually do things and help your team secure objectives. But that's a Cloud Drake for the red team there. The gold discrepancy isn't too bad. The kill feed looks bad, but it's not too bad at all. It's completely winnable. I'd say what needs to happen for the blue team at this point is they need to time flashes. They need to take note that Kai'Sa and Senna burn flash, and they need to send either Jarvan or Syndra to punish those flashes and see if they can get some bounties, the bounty gold expended off of Kai'Sa, and especially off of Zac. So a little bit, I don't know if you guys caught that, but a little bit of a trade there. When you're playing Varus, you are very strong as a poke champion. You can poke champions out of lane, but the big counter to poke champions are heal champions, like Senna, for example. So when you have a heal support, you kind of want to not so much poke, but more so all in. You know, if you all in on the healer, you're able to win those fights. Bit of a scrap there. Malphite's What can Jarvan do here? I think he's got him. Yep, blocks him down, proccing his Conqueror, and then Wukong to finish off. Nice. And there's Zach in the bot lane here. That's good from these guys. Little bold from Kaisa, but it works off. So I'll replay that again. We have Zach engaging on Varus here. Varus, nice. Nice ultimate under tower there. Varus just takes that W, and that gives Kaisa the perfect opportunity. And tough from Nautilus, he fair on him to ulti the Senna, but if he had known that the Kaisa had ultied in, he might have held it. So map's kind of shaking out. We're in the mid game now. Early game ganks definitely went in Zach's favor, and dragons are one apiece. So now in the mid game, it's pretty much all about which players go to the best lanes, which lanes are gonna best suit each champion, and usually a good rotation to make is to send the bot lane to the mid lane, because mid lane turret, especially tier 1, is absolutely a game opener. That was just a plain good combo from Syndra. She realized Anivia was out of mana, and ultimately she was keen to back, and Syndra was just having none of that. And especially in the mid game at this point, it's super. Playing from behind is very tough if you're a support, because you want to give your team as much vision as possible to make the best choices as possible. However, overextending into enemy territory or into dark areas will ultimately just result in you getting picked. So at this point, we've got another dragon just a few minutes away. Syndra's doing well, holding out the mid lane. I like this control ward there. That's their best bet at establishing a bit of offensive vision. And then I wouldn't advise Varus. When you're an AD carry, you do want to absorb a lot of jungle farm, but for some champions, maybe not so much. Here we have another engage from Zach. Syndra dropping combos there on Anivia. Anivia flashes. So you kind of see red team right now just flexing a little bit of their muscles, and it's not really too much to say there. It's the back and forth, and then just a little bit of an unfortunate pick there, coming out from the Anivia there. So we have another dragon going over to the red team here. They did well to play that slow and wait for Anivia stuns to secure. And because they've got a Kaisa, they are able to melt that dragon pretty quickly. When you have Kaisa and Vayne on your team, objectives will always fall way quicker than they normally would, which basically leads me to my point of AD mage versus AD carry. Blue team is rocking Varus, super strong this patch, good setup, and it fits well in pick comp. Ooh, very nice. Yep, he got it. But having an AD carry is so important late game, and especially for taking objectives, because they're going to provide the big damage to take towers, take dragons, take barons. At this point, we have the gold lead slowly building. If I was in the blue team's position, once again, we see all flashes are up from red. So now they might want to think about setting up death bushes. I see they've got a control ward here. Maybe a few players might stack in here and pick Senna when she comes to ward. Wukong is doing what he can to split push. It's a bit tough. Take a quick stock of items here. This is where the scaling is kind of started. Wukong cannot adequately match Malphite anymore, just because this Malphite has gone full Rammus mode and he's really turtled up with all of this armor. Got a little bit of a scrap, and he's out. So a rule of thumb, if you're a top laner, if you can duel your top lane opponent consistently, you should be split pushing, unless there's an objective coming up, or unless you think you can absolutely win 5v5s. But if you can put 1v1 pressure on the map and threaten towers, then it's usually a good idea. So just reel a little bit back here and just have a breakdown here. I feel like Syndra wasn't necessarily doing anything too wrong. She checks that out, yeah. So here's another, just a powerful item coming out of Senna. This is the Umbral Glaive. The sheer amount of vision that you can secure using this item is not to be slept on. And when you do get behind, sometimes you'll want to swap to Farsight Alteration Orb, the blue trinket, to safely get that offensive vision and prevent those sorts of engages from happening. So yeah, from a red team perspective here, they're doing well. Nobody's throwing too hard. They're engaging when they need to. And yep, bit of an extended fight. Just Zach doing Zach things there. And that's a turret win. So I'll do what I can to break down that fight just ever so quickly, but pretty much starts with I believe it starts with the Zac engage, forcing them off the tower, and then Wukong, yep, chipping out Anivia there. Yep, Zac peeling Anivia. And yep, Varus. I feel like he could have shot his arrow to kill the Zac there. But they are holding it off. They're holding it off, but Anivia's been really good with her walls here, and that's kind of the scaling power of Anivia, especially with both tower defense and tower dives. She's really good at just kind of creating very unpleasant areas to stand in. So they lose one, they lose their 80 carry, but take 4 kills and a tower and inhibitor. So definitely a trade they would take every day of the week. And right now, there you go. See Malphite letting his team know that they've got the 3rd dragon coming up. So another easy communication tool you can do is just pinging the dragons as they're coming up, and just kind of friendly reminder to your team that, hey, this is what we should be doing. Everybody reset if you need to, ward up if you need to. Yep. So Kaisa, she opted for the Hurricane build. Yep, that's nice. So she could have gone Nashor's Tooth for a W upgrade, but went Hurricane for a bit more, I suppose, area of effect damage and power farming. So She's locked and loaded to deal damage. Malphite is just crazy frontline. The only one that can really do damage to him right now is Syndra, and ultimately Syndra does not want to be doing damage to anybody but the squishies, so that's tough. And then we've got, if you guys can see that, that's close. That's a solo kill from Senna, coming in on the AD carry, and Senna's again scaling champion. She gets free crit just for absorbing those souls, so just be mindful. And here we go. So now blue team, they're gonna want to look for picks. They're gonna do it. There you go. They're gonna see what they can do here. That's excellent. Yep. Jarvan's doing what he can here. He's trying to hold him off. Zach's giving him the thumbs up. Zach's build definitely a supportive build for sure. I like it a lot. It's completely tank. He's not intending on doing any damage, just pure crowd control. So the blue team, needs to look for picks, needs to fight under towers. Red team has the opportunity to siege this, and they're thinking about it. They are. They're kind of testing the waters. There's Senna, and everybody's coming out with a little bit of damage there. And got some more kills under tower. So slow this down a little bit again here. So ultimately, they've dove, they've got a kill. My AD carry mindset says try and push these minions and crash the wave. But Anivia was definitely, she really did commit to killing the Jarvan or Nautilus. Wukong gets a kill, and he's doing what he can. Wukong is pretty much the primary damage source at this point. And then Syndra comes out to actually, there you go, so she's the one that can do damage to Malphite. And but I think he actually might get away here if I'm not mistaken. No, we have the flash coming out, flash and ultimate. Okay, flash and ultimate for a shutdown. And probably not the worst, but again, gotta ask yourself, is not having my flash for the next team fight worth that shutdown? And I believe, as she's about to find out, probably not. But that's okay. That's okay. Now, for red team here, this is an interesting choice that they make. So it's Anivia and Malphite down. What they can do is ward up, reset a little bit, or they can keep sieging top. Effectively, Jarvan and Nautilus will be coming up, so it's going to be a 3v4. They do have 3 strong members here, and we'll see what they want to do here. So Zach sends it in. If I was Kai'Sa and Senna right here, I'd be attacking that tower while you can. They definitely have the damage for it, but they peel back, just kind of testing the waters. And for the red team, I like that they were looking for kills, but ultimately, if you're just on the tower, kind of ARAMing, or you're just kind of fighting, or just kind of exerting pressure, but not really getting objectives in the late game, it is slowly giving an advantage back to the losing team, because they're just able to farm under tower and stall out the game to an even position. So got this 3v4 here. It's a little bit of in and out. Zach putting down big CC. There goes the Senna ultimate. And that's another pick on Nautilus. Zach with a really nice ulti flash. And Kaisa is able to get free plasma stacks off all of those. So I think they realized at this point that top tower is not going to happen. So they go ahead and just make their way out. And really smart from the Kaisa there, doing some counter jungling. And that's what you want to do every time you get control of the map. Try your best to counter jungle enemy camps. It's the easiest way to snowball a lead, and you know, both deny the enemy's farm and get yourself some free gold. So that's a little bit of you know, Wukong, you know, understands that you know, he needs to push up. The blue team does ultimately need to push out of their base to win this game, but the red team is definitely making it hard because you know, at any turn, all it can take is just an Anivia Q, and anybody's locked down. Which leads me back to talking about team comps here, whereby you know, when you play competitive 5v5s, you definitely want one tank for sure, but more often than not 2 tanks. And as the red team has done by having the tankier comp, they've been able to give Kaisa more of the gold, give Anivia more farm, and they have all the damage they need, just as long as those players stay alive. So we have the blue team realizing that Nashor's gone. That was a good pickup from red team. But we see Jarvan, who's pinging Dragon here, and they want Dragon. So a good trade usually, if you know you can't contest Baron, is to fight at Dragon here. And so we've got red team kind of getting another pick on Nautilus, but Jarvan's just waiting in the wings. Malphite comes in, and that's just an excellent steal from Jarvan though. However, they're really, I did not see a winning scenario for them there, because red team was absolutely grouped up, and they definitely forced it pretty hard. Sometimes you'll even win the games by letting your opponents take the objective, and by letting them take the objective, you can position for a better fight. But that was not the case. He did prevent the Ocean Soul, but these guys have Baron, and lanes are in position. So they say to themselves, you know, hey, we've got Baron, 2 team members down. We'll try our luck and get inhibitors, and you know, and maybe look for some more stuff. So as they start to press into the base, I'm just looking over my notes. Yeah, ultimately, that Jarvan invade early was you know, the idea was right. You know, when you play Jarvan, you absolutely want to be making aggressive early plays. You want to be ganking a lot. You know, you want to you know, get a lead over tanky junglers that will outscale you. But that little pixel ward spotted him out, and he ultimately, I think, should have bailed when he noticed the bot lane was rotating up, and then for the red team, I can't speculate if they could have closed this game out faster. I think they took it at a good pace. I think they did what they needed to do. They held vision well, and especially even for Senna right here, they tried to kill her so many times, but she will end the game undefeated. So good on her, good on Kaisa, good on Zach. They would be my top 3 MVP for this game, and then my ace player for blue team would either be Syndra or Wukong. Syndra did really well, farming out, getting some solo kills on Anivia. Wukong as well, getting a solo kill on Malphite. From what I saw on the chat feed as well, Jarvan did a really good job at letting his team members know about objectives, getting everybody grouped. And when you are a jungler, you are kind of the main shot caller for a team. You decide what objectives are worth fighting for. But that is, that's meta picks at work. And a good game, all up. Good plays from both sides. And there you go. They do get that Kaisa in the end, and that's a match on Summoner's Rift for you. So I hope you guys learned a little bit here. Name of the game is communication, and letting your team members know what you want to do, and especially spotting the enemies as well. Letting players know that are getting ganked that they're getting ganked, and everybody will make it out alive. And there you go, GG's coming out. All right, well, thanks so much, guys, for listening to the commentary here. Do what you can, and best of luck out there in Summoner's Rift. For me, Ted, I'll catch you guys next time.